this stupid game. Alright, good day chaps, and welcome to a Hearts of Iron 3 World War I mod Let's Play as the German Empire. Yes, that's right. I should be doing one for the UK in the Second World War, but yeah, that one kept crashing, so yeah, I've switched to this instead. This is immense fun. I mean, this is I downloaded this mod yesterday, and well, I played it for 5 hours straight, so it is very, very, very good indeed. It's very, very well thought out, and yeah, it's a fantastic addition to Hearts of Iron 3. I've spared the actual command restructuring and the making of a whole bunch of the units and things. I'll give you a brief overview in a second, but I've got a feeling, well, you know, I just have the slight inkling that many of you do not give a shit how I do my command structuring thing in this game. So alas, I haven't shown that. But basically, just the general gist of it is that well, I've got a 1 HQ down here. That I've split my HQs up into 3 sectors. I'll go to the theatre map mode. There we are. We've got this one here, which will this darker blue colour here, which will mainly do the Schlieffen offensive, or so it's called, and that will go and try and wrap around to Paris. I've got this one here, which will try and hold the line against well, what would be the Maginot Line and the regular Hearts of Iron 3, but that's Alsace-Lorraine, I think it's called. And over here, this will be also a defensive line against the Russians, and they do have quite a few troops there. As you can see, I haven't actually deployed any of my troops to here for the moment. The actual Germans start with a huge stack of units in, well, what is Munich, and so I've just redeployed a whole bunch of these over here, and that took some time. That's why it's now the 1st of June, and this should be starting on the 1st of May. So it's just been that, and restructure the Navy as well, because the German Navy is good, but it's not as good as our loving cousin, the British, over here. So yeah, we're going to have to work pretty hard to ensure we don't get a blockade set up, which is what happened during the First World War, which is one of the main reasons why they lost. So hopefully that doesn't occur. Well, it will occur. We just need to make sure we blast it open. So the way, well, there's sort of, I'll explain how I'm going to do that. But let's first look at diplomacy. So I've taken the liberty of doing this as well off camera. I'm influencing the Kingdom of Italy. Now I know you're thinking, wait, hang on a second, you're allied to Italy. Surely you don't need to influence them. Well, yes and no. The problem is, if you don't influence them as Germany, I made this mistake last game, and don't actually get them into your faction, which is the Central Powers, they will not honour that alliance when war with France and Russia breaks out, and UK. So I'm going to try actually getting them into these Central Powers this time, and hopefully that will alleviate that problem. I'm also influencing the Ottoman Empire, because that'd be quite good. That will create another front for Russia, so that's perfect. And I'm influencing someone else, I think. Am I? Let's have a look. Does it say who I'm influencing? And Norway. I want to get Norway, and I might also later on, once that's happened, I might try and influence Japan, because, well, we have a lot of Pacific Island positions, which I don't really fancy losing, and they'll also be great against great in invading the Dutch over here, and maybe thinking about annoying Australia a little bit. But yeah. So there's a few things as well that I'm doing. This guy here is moving to here, because I did notice last game when I was playing with the Germans and I took over Belgium and why are they not surrendering? It turns out they've actually got a victory point down here. Which that was enough to actually keep them in the game. So that was like, oof, great. So that's, well, unfortunately they left it unguarded, so they did surrender and come to my side eventually, but alas, that was an interesting surprise. So, what else? I think that's about it. For technologies and stuff, I've been just putting a few down. I've got 15 assigned to research, which is probably enough for now. I've got 2 on officers, because Germany actually starts with quite a good set of policies which allow officers to be made right from the start, which is great. I mean, we already have the 140% ratio, which is also amazing, so that's saves the need to just do a big officer dumping. And yeah, so production-wise, I've got a whole bunch of industrial capacity queued up for a bit, and then that will eventually stop. And the Germans actually start with a whole bunch of like protector crews and stuff. I've got rid of those. All I'm going to build are dreadnoughts and destroyers. That's really all you need. So this is my thing that will challenge the Royal Navy. Eventually, this is where I stop actually doing stuff, and now this is me making a whole bunch more. And then I've got a whole bunch of infantry queued up, so hopefully with some extra production, I'll be able to sustain the making of about 4 dreadnoughts at once, as well as a few destroyers. And the rest of it will just be churning out infantry, which is good. Ooh, another thing to note about this mod, and I've got some transport which will be useful in the Pacific, because the Germans only start with 1 transport fleet of 6, which isn't really enough. And yeah, I think that's about all I've done. And no aircraft, obviously, because, well, planes don't exist yet. And they will later on, though, I promise you. I'll probably use some planes for my offensive into here. Only problem is the range isn't great. So, like, by the time we've actually... So the airbase is here, the actual range is only to about there. So it's like, well, you can use them for your initial assault, but once that's happened, that's it. There's no... have to capture another airbase or build another one, which... takes time, so that's why I'm looking at Brussels and Lille quite fondly, because if we can take those air bases, that will make invading France a hell of a lot easier. So to do that, we need to get tactical bombers. You do that in research and in aircraft. I'm not going to bother explaining to you all the ins and outs of this mod. You go play it yourself. It's fantastic. Or you can just pick it up as you go along. It's up to you. Yeah, so here we go. I think we can unpause it pretty safely, and let's get to it. So, if you saw that intro video thing, that was basically Germany's situation at this time. So we're allied currently with Austria. Ooh, what's this? Ooh, stop. There we go, we paused. There's been an ongoing discussion in our government for some time about yada yada yada. Yada yada yada. Sounds fine, mate. Just do that. And that probably would have been something like Kaiser Wilhelm's response in reality. So it's, yeah, I don't know, it's... aristocrats, kings, they're all the same underneath. Anyway, let's just keep going, yeah. So let's have a look at... Oof, that's a lot of troops, I must say. We've got cavalries. That's a good idea. Oh, hello. We've shocked her for... whatever. Maybe we could make a few cavalry regiments. Divisions, rather. Oh, another thing to note, you can only have a maximum of 3 divisions... 3 brigades in a division at the start of one of these games. We don't need 25. Maybe like 1 corpse worth is probably enough. Yeah. And maybe we might move those to the... Oh, God. Move those to, like, there. That way that's done quickly. God, they're not very expensive, are they? Crikey. It's... Actually, what are their stats? Oh. That's why they're not very expensive. It's because they're a bit shit. Do we want some stormtroopers are a bit faster? 4. Oh, no, they're not. Cavalry speed 5. Okay, instead of maybe what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of that and maybe just make some divisions that have no artillery. I'm thinking they're a bit shit as well. Let's just do, yeah, one division without, one thing without artillery, that should be fine. Essentially that's more expensive than the regular ones. It's, okay. Oh, hello, we've got lots of things happening. Oh, let's have a look. Swiss, oh yes, come on Switzerland, come in. Kaiser, welcome to Spain. I actually tried influencing Spain last game, that didn't work, so I haven't bothered with that this time. They go next Korea, lovely. Kaiser, the Fools have cancelled that, whatever. We've started to cancel that, blah, blah. Decryption, decrypt. There we go. We've got our first text finished. Okay, so we can now switch these for something else. Only problem is there isn't that much else, so we're going to have to get some 1911 text on the go. I mean, it's nearly 1911 anyway, but no matter. Do we want some of these? Ooh, that's good because we can get cavalry upgrades. We might need some. Oh, but we're not making cavalry anymore, are we? AC. What's that? Armored car, perhaps? Yes, you can get tanks. We haven't quite got those yet. What's that? We don't know what the stats are. Who knows? Yes, after playing this game for 5 hours yesterday, I didn't actually get any further than about 1916, so I didn't really end up using many tanks. I used aircraft though. Yes, and they were a well, let's just say they're no medium bomber. Oh, did I forget to cancel? Yeah. Yes, the medium bomber isn't particularly strong, I must say. It's yeah. Well, it's shit really. Actually, it's you know, at least the early ones are the ones that I was playing with. So hopefully, it won't be like that for this one, because I've doing this a bit differently. Because the last game I was also actually making a whole bunch of light cruisers and armored cruisers. You don't really need them, because when I was admittedly getting the shit kicked out of me in the North Sea by the Royal Navy, they were always sinking my light cruisers and things, but I didn't lose a single dreadnought or destroyer. So I thought, maybe I could have just, if I just focus on those things, they may have a few issues, which is good for us. We want them to have issues. We want them to not blockade us, if that's okay. I could also make some submarines and try and secure our trade route, but I probably won't. I don't know. I don't really use submarines in Hearts of Iron. It's just my thing. Don't really think you need to. I haven't automated this. I probably will when the war breaks out. But for now, I can just pardon me. I can actually just control these each individually, which is good in some respects, because the actual pardon me. Ideally, when we get down to here, our frontage will be a lot less, so we can have a much more concentrated offensive, which is what we want, especially against Paris, because I'm sure that will be a tough nut to crack, especially if the British turn up. So, yes. I say if the British turn up, because, well, I'm not entirely sure they did last game, so it's, we'll find out. We've got more stuff. Operational lever, what's that? Is that a land doctrine? That's that. And civil defense. Perfect, don't need that anymore. And we can also get a few 1912 techs if we're desperate now, because we're in 1911, but it's not efficient, but then I don't think we want much choice because we've got all the 1911 stuff on the queue. So let's go. Oh, have we? I might get my dreadnought stuff first, that way we can make a few more upgrader ones, which is not battle cruiser. What am I doing? It's yes, that's good. And do we want anything else? Light cruiser, destroyer, definitely. And we'll definitely get the infantry ones, because infantry is amazing. And we'll also get our industrial production and efficiency ones. Education, all this lovely stuff to stop attrition, and heavy air guns. Yeah, why not? Oh, and that, definitely that. In fact, I want that to be a big priority, because we can research fast with it, which is great, because the faster you can research, the more techs you can get for the least leadership put in, which is a win-win. That's why playing as the British in Hearts of Iron 3, the regular game, is so good, because you start with a mechanical computing machine, which is, well, a lot further ahead than a whole bunch of other nations, so you can research things very, very quickly, which is fantastic. And that can go after that. Perfect. Okay. Infantry attack weapons is 4 years ahead. Is it? No, it is 2. Okay, never mind, we won't do that. Why is that so advanced? Ooh, new policy. What have we got? Full mobilization. Ooh, yes, I forgot to mention this. I've got a whole bunch of spies. I put them into France, and I'm making them raise the threat level, so I can actually get some of these policies that are more industry suited, which is fantastic. So now we can make a whole bunch more industrial capacity. There we go. I counted that correctly. It's definitely not a fluke. Why would you think that? Anyway, chaps, I'm going to leave that there, because this is getting quite long. I don't want to bore you all to death in one day. There might be another video of the same content out later today. Depends on whether it gets uploaded in time. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Click like if you do. Subscribe if you want to watch the whole series. Yes, it's quite a few unexpected things happen in this game. Yeah, you'll find out next episode, or maybe in 3 episodes' time, depending on how I split this up. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Have a good day.